Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the May 4th meeting of the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board. Please note the exits in case of an emergency, and please join me as we stand and pledge the allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My name's Ann Dexter, and I'm Vice Chair, and I'm filling in for our Chairman, who is traveling to a much warmer destination, I believe. First item on the agenda is the small O'Malley subdivision. This is a minor subdivision plat approval for 5 lots in the on Cream Street in the town of Poughkeepsie. The applicant has asked that we reopen the public hearing, but because they are still working on the materials and have not submitted anything new, they've asked us to just adjourn once we're done to June 15th. So may I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. So there, in the meantime, there has been site walks and then an additional site walk with the applicant's engineer and the wetland and biohabitat, is that right? Biohabitat? Biologist to take another look at the land, because when we were out on our site walk, we noted that there were, in fact, 2 additional wetlands that did not show up on the site plan, on the subdivision plan. So the biologist went out and did, in fact, note that there were 2 other wetlands. Apparently, some of the no trespassing signs made it, I think he felt that those were marking the boundary lines of the property when they weren't. So those are going to be added to the new submissions. They also noted that the driveways that had been drawn on the plans actually were going to go right where some of the more significant trees were. There's not many trees on the area where the houses and the driveways are going to be built, so they're going to reorient their driveways and try and save as many trees as they can. So that will make a much better, I believe that'll make a much better project and make it more appealing to people who would want to live there. So I'm going to ask our consultants for any comments. Ms. Cranston, do you have any comments on this?
Essentially, it is, as you had said, they have to update the plans to reflect the additional wetlands that were observed. Also, I believe there was a DEC letter that came through, and they mentioned the potential for Blanding's turtle. So we need to just make sure that when Mr. Nowicki goes out and does his wetland delineation for the additional wetlands, that he also considers whether or not there are potential for a Blanding's habitat, because I believe that has to then go back to the DEC. So other than that, really, we're waiting to get the additional plans to see whether to confirm that the revisions were made that the planning board had requested.
Okay, great. Thank you for confirming that. Ms. Moss, do you have any comments on this?
No, other than that the town engineer and the applicant aren't here, but I believe there was some discussion about the driveway location and communicating with county DPW, and I don't think that's been resolved yet.
Correct, so that makes another point for adjourning to a later date. Ms. Polidoro, do you have any comments?
Premature to consider secret at this time until we have more information, and the board should continue the hearing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Starting to my right, Mr. Oliver, do you have any comments?
I have nothing new to add.
Okay.
And nothing new to add.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr.
Nothing new to add?
And Ms. Weiser.
I'm going to change it up and say no comment.
Oh, there you go. Okay, at this time, is there anybody in the public that would like to speak on this application? There being none, can I get a motion to adjourn this public hearing to June 15th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We will adjourn this to June 15th. Okay. Next item on the agenda are the Cranston GM.
The 15th.
Cranston, solar panels, right? Yes. May I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. This is a continuation of a solar panel application. We have not had any new submittals, and so we will not be closing the public hearing, and we will be adjourning it for 2 weeks, or should it be 4 weeks? Let me ask, let's go around the horn a little bit. Bonnie?
I don't have any additional comments. I believe there were some comments about screening that
Yeah.
need to be addressed still.
Okay. Ms. Moss, do you want to opine?
I don't believe the screening issue has been adequately addressed. Screening needs to be on the property that is asking for the approval, not on the neighboring property. And it's not necessarily to be screened from a residence, but from adjoining property.
Right, and it's not like we're asking for a solid wall of
No.
anything. It can be, perceived as just additional items of landscaping
Yes.
that break it up, and so that they don't, and that can be accomplished in a variety of ways.
Variety of ways, yes.
One of the most popular ones that we've seen is the use of forsythia,
Yes.
because they're very low maintenance, and they do a great job of screening pretty much everything. Yeah.
And just, I believe the issue, as Tad had raised it, was that, or it could have been Victoria, that you can't screen with screening that's on some other lot. It needs to be screening that's on the lot on which the solar facility is located, and I think that was where the issue was arising.
Right, but yes, but we did resolve that it does need to be on the owner's lot, and
Correct.
so it shouldn't take much, as I
Right.
think what we discussed and said. Just some careful placement.
Right.
He doesn't have to go out and get, someone was saying, you don't have to go out and get 10 and 12-foot tall evergreens and do all that. There's just some fairly artistic ways to do that. So we look forward to seeing a response from the applicant. Ms. Polidoro?
Since any edits to the plans would be minor in nature, I think you can continue it for 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start to my left. Any comments, Ms. Weiss?
No new comments.
Okay, Mr. Waters?
No comments at this time?
Ms. Wasser?
No comments.
And Mr. Oliver?
No comments.
Okay. May I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to May 18th, 2022?
So moved.
Thank you.
Or seconded? There we
Ann seconded it? You did?
go. Stephanie seconded.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Oliver.
Oh,
I didn't hear that.
didn't either. Thank you.
I moved, he seconded.
He had moved just a
Oh
few
my
seconds
God.
before you.
Insert names again.
All right, well, speak up loud enough for the secretary, please.
Okay, we'll do
I'm
Thank
in
you.
between two mics.
Your mask is
I'll
affecting you.
make it better.
You should be in stereo.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is workshop for a new application for solar panels, the Robert Wright residence. Do we have representatives? Come on down and sit down and talk into the microphone, please.
Oh, no.
If you could please state your name for the record.
Neil Chervin, Sunrun Solar.
Thank you.
Robert Wright, resident.
Excellent. Okay, great. Would you like to give us a quick overview of the project? And when you do, could you please move the microphone closer to you?
Sure, I
Thank you.
thought my voice would be loud enough, but anyway.
This is for the people who we're capturing this is
Oh,
being
oh,
filmed.
we're on
and-
TV, I can say hello to my
There you
mother?
go.
Okay,
Exactly.
sorry. Okay, good, all right. This goes back a while already. We started back in August of 2021, where we looked at Mr. Wright's house and deemed that he wants to go green and save money on his ever-increasing electric bills. So we sent out a site survey, tech to go out and view the house, the roof, his electric, and surrounding areas, and we came back with what's called a final design from our in-house engineers, and deemed this system is what we're looking at to produce the most amount of electricity we possibly can from the sun. In regards to that, we also upgraded his roof to enhance so the system, so he doesn't have leaks, and it would be secured on his roof. And we are now at the stage we've put in for all our permits. We've looked at roof access, fire code setbacks, and safety, and thank you. And now we are ready to get our team to actually install the system, and he's been waiting since August.
Okay.
So we're ready to move forward. The next step is we want to get him on, thank you, schedule on the calendar to do the installation. So that's his house. It's two family, right? It's a building that has a house on one side and the other. We're obviously only putting panels on his side of the roof that he owns.
And when you, have you already done the roof upgrades?
Yes,
And when you did that, was that to just that part of the roof?
correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, only a portion of the roof that he owns. We weren't going to do it for his neighbor unless they go solar, which is, he's recommending it to them.
Okay, all right. I am going to just start with our consultants, and I'm going to start with Ms. Moss.
Sure. Hi.
Or maybe I'll just go directly to Victoria.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to throw a wet blanket on it. Sorry to be the wet blanket, but we were having some trouble determining the ownership of the roof because you have shared party walls.
Yep.
And we were looking for some information, either your deed or, some kind of maintenance agreement, because in many townhouses, condominiums, the roof is owned by a common entity, and that common entity would need to be a signatory or applicant on the application. And we did not find any information on this particular house. So could you fill us in a little bit on, how the property is owned and how the roof is owned, and, do you have permission? You said it's a two-family. Do you have permission from the neighbor to put this on the roof? It does make a difference in cases where if the roof has to be replaced, the panels have to come off, and it does add cost.
Well, it is a townhouse, and we own the townhouse. When we have to do anything to our roof, we do not have to get permission from neighbors. That has never been a condition. So we're able to make repairs as needed.
Do you have, I mean, I hate to do this, but I'm an attorney, so I have to.
Sorry, it would be considered a single-family residence.
Yes.
But it has a shared roof. Do you have anything like a title policy or something that would say that you have, sole rights to fix the roof, or anything we can look at?
Other than the title, and I don't know if our title specifies that. Again, we've lived in that residence for more than 40 years.
Oh.
Never have we had to inquire with neighbors to get their permission
It is
to do any repairs or anything on the roof.
They're separate grid numbers.
Right, no, I get that, but see the building, it's 2 and 2. and
Oh,
2
that's what
and
you mean
2.
by two-family. Okay.
Right, so it's one building has two on 2 lots.
Yes,
but one
adjoined. I
building's
mean, it's
adjoined.
connected buildings, but
So is there a demising wall? Is
there's
there
a
a
firewall.
firewall up through the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. Is there a
Right.
a homeowners association agreement with the two units being the two parties to the agreement?
There is no homeowners association at
And-
that location.
There's no party wall agreement, so if something happens to the wall? Okay.
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of.
What would be a good start? We tried to pull the deed on Dutchess County Parcel Access, but now you've explained you've been there 40 years, that's why we couldn't find it. They've only digitized more recent transactions.
That makes
So
sense.
if you wouldn't mind getting us a copy of your deed, just so we have it on file, and then, just reviewing what the description says.
Mhm. Not a problem.
Thank you.
So does the deed have to say anything in particular, or is it just,
I'd like to see if the deed has any specific language in it addressing this.
Okay. Yeah, so the sooner you can get that to us, then the better we can evaluate the application.
What are you looking, what would you want it to say?
Well,
And
we're
if
not gonna
it-
change what it says, but it's gonna say what it says.
And
Right.
what would?
I mean, I just wanna see if it says something like, you know, tenants in common with roof, or if there's any specific language about, a covenant or homeowners maintenance agreement or homeowners association. It's odd to have all these shared walls without having an overarching association, that's all. So we're just trying to cross Ts, dot Is, because my job is to protect the town, and the last thing we want is someone coming saying, why did you authorize this?
It's also to protect you, because if
Absolutely.
the neighbor sells their part, and then somebody complains about the panels being on their shared roof, you know, for some reason, if they have to repair the roof, or there's termites or a leak or something that both parties are involved with, then,
Well,
you
my
know,
neighbor has
Yeah.
repaired his roof when he needed to.
yeah.
He did not inquire.
No.
As far as we know, that is not a part
Yeah.
of the condition
Mhm.
of ownership. And we don't, again, we do not have to, siding is also a part of it, and we replaced our siding. And we may say to our neighbor that we're going to do this,
Mhm.
and would you like to go in with us to get it done if you like? But that's it. There's no, at least as far as I know, there has been no requirement.
So if your neighbor replaced the roof, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask Tad to pull the building department file. No?
There's not going to be one.
Okay.
If it's a repair, there's not a file.
But you have to get a permit to replace the roof, don't you?
To replace, not to repair.
Okay, well, let's just see, because if they've been
Okay.
issuing permits for work on the other properties that, you know,
Yeah.
We'll look.
Yep.
Being
might
that,
influence.
Yeah, this is fairly unique for us, because
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
normally there's a
Right,
there's a
single-family
homeowner's.
house, which is a separate unit, is easy, we do it, it's done.
Yes.
We've never had this before, we do thousands, literally thousands of homeowners up in this area, Poughkeepsie, or the
Yep.
vendor for.
Yeah, so if you get us the deed, that would help
My
significantly.
only thought would be that if everything is separate, meaning that his meters, his electric meter, if he has a gas meter, anything else is on separate sides. Sometimes when they have a building like that, they put it all on one side, and then yes, things are shared, because in order for this side to do something, this side has to approve because it's there or whatever, but everything is separate, everything is separated.
okay.
Okay,
Again,
so
we're
if
just asking the
everything is separated,
questions, and
yeah.
if you just give us a little more information, it would be helpful. Thank you.
Appreciate that. That's very helpful. Comments from my colleagues, Mr. Oliver?
I have no comments on this.
Ms. Weiser?
I don't have any further comments.
Mr. Waters?
No, just, I hope it works out, because it'll be nice to reduce your electric bills.
Ms.
Thank
Weiser?
you. So do we.
And I have no additional comments, thanks.
And I don't have any additional comments, because this is mostly a matter of just, again, dotting the i's, crossing the t's, and just making sure everybody's protected. You know, we love for people to go green and put solar up. We're getting more and more applications.
I'm sorry, can you say it a little louder? I didn't quite hear you, you were breaking up.
We'll rerun that on the TV.
What, you don't want me to hold up a sign for you, or?
It's my shirt on.
Okay, so we have in our recommendation that we should set a public hearing for this, starting on June 1st. And hopefully we can get our materials in and see how much further we can move this along. Does that?
So my question would be, he just needs to supply his own deed. How does he do that? Does he take a picture of it, text it, email it? What do you need
I mean, a scanned copy is more readable than a picture for us. And you can just email it to the clerk, Cynthia Whitman, or to you, and you can get it to Cynthia Whitman,
Okay,
whatever the chain of command is between you guys, and
that's fine. I could send it to Margaret or Shannon, who does all the permitting for us.
yeah, I mean, however we get it, I prefer PDF, but if you have to come to town hall, she'll copy it, if that's easier too, if a PDF is hard. Yeah, we can make a
One thing I
copy.
would just ask is, you mentioned homeowners associations. There is a law on New York State that homeowners association, as long as, again, which we are trying to qualify, he owns his own roof, cannot deny someone going solar. They could die on other things, they may have ideas of what color shingles they put on as far as that, but it is on the law that states that they cannot deny somebody going solar for their house.
That's interesting. And actually, planning boards, it's kind of interesting. We don't rely on homeowners associations approvals for anything. We review it in
Right.
accordance with the code. The only issue would be the ownership.
Right.
I didn't know about that law, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
He better
Okay.
own his house.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not. No, I'm sure he owns the house. Again, it was just whether the roof is a shared ownership or not. It's one, we'll get through it.
Okay. So, can I get a motion to set a public hearing for the Robert Wright solar panels for June 1st, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I still raise my hand.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much, and we
Thank you.
appreciate it. And see you on the 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is, what is this? This is a site plan waiver for the DEKKER and Bard rear hot tub at 17 Beadart Place, Hyde Park, New York. Our zoning administrator has made a recommendation to waive site plan for this to install a hot tub in the rear of 17 Beadart Place.
He lives
I'll
at
ask
2 Boxwood Court.
Ms. Moss, if you have any additional comments on the hot tub?
No.
Okay, do any of my colleagues have any comments?
No comments.
Okay, then, Ms. Weiser.
Okay.
No, 'cause shared
Francois
roof there.
Decker and Stephen
Shared roof.
Bard,
This is
17
different.
Beadart Place, site plan waiver, Town Code Section 108-9.4C2, May 4th, 2022, resolution number 2022-16. Whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Francois Decker and Stephen Bard for the construction of a 92 by 92 spa on the property associated with a single-family home requiring a building permit, and whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received by the Building Department April 21st, 2022, and per the request to the Planning Board dated April 15th, 2022.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is site plan waiver for rear deck on 42 Old Post Road in Statsburg, New York. This is, again, a zoning administrator recommendation and draft resolution for a site plan waiver. Any additional comments on this one?
No.
Do my colleagues have any comments on this one? Then we have a resolution prepared.
Yes, Rob Waters, David ROZAN, 42 Old Post Road, Statsburg, New York. Site plan waiver, rear deck, Town Code Section 108-9.4C2. Resolution 2022-12. Whereas the application requesting a waiver of the site plan has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board, Mr. ROZAN, on March 2nd, 2022, for the property located at 42 Old Post Road in the Town of Hyde Park. Whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received by the Building Department February 20th, 2022, and per the request of the Planning Board dated March 2nd, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And last item on the agenda is Hyde Park Quick Stop. This is a request to authorize the chairman to send a letter to the ZBA recommending that they grant the variances that the Hyde Park Quick Stop has requested.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And Discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. And final item is to adjourn. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
We
Thank you,
did it.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.